Hi everybody and welcome back to Aamsuntitledpodcast. I'm Am. Hi, if you've never met me before, it's really nice to meet you. Welcome to my Percy Jackson dedicated podcast. I just wanted to start off by saying I'm so sorry this upload is a day late. Um this week, even though I've been off uni, has kind of flown by. I was busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my sister fell ill on Thursday, Friday, so I kind of just where the time's gone, to be honest. And I wanted to put up an episode this week because obviously I don't have an excuse. I'm off uni, like I don't have an excuse not to upload. And also, I've already missed a few uploads this year, and it's not really looking like a good start to the year. Sorry, minor interruption there. What was I talking about? Um, yeah, so sorry there hasn't been an upload on time this week. I hope you guys can forgive me, but we've got a lot to talk about in this episode, so I just want to get on with it because I was just reading through my notes and I'm like, oh my god, there's so much going on. Like, this episode's going to be quite long, so please try to stick with me. I will try and summarize everything as much as possible and try not to ramble, although anyone who listens to my podcast knows for a fact that I can't help myself. So let's get on with it. So in today's episode, we are, I think, on the second to last part of the book. So I think I've split this up into eight parts. So we're on chapters 36 to 42. We're almost towards the end of the book. I'd say we're about 3/4 of the way there. So things are going to start kicking off now, which means that I've got to try my best to keep you guys with me because there's a lot that goes on. And like I said, I'll promise I'll try not to ramble, but I don't think I can help myself. Anyway, chapter 36 is Leo's point of view, and it opens up with Piper being cured by Phoebe, because obviously her and Leo in the previous few chapters were turned into statues, and they're not statues anymore. Obviously, Leo, the man that he is flirting with Thalia, but she just ignores it. You know what? I mean, I can't blame the guy. Thalia is an amazing woman. She's a great character, so I'm not really surprised why he's hitting on her, and in classic Leo style, that's the way he's going to cheer himself up and distract himself from what's already happened. Um, so they're running uphill through the snow because obviously Thalia is taking them to Aeolus's palace. Is that how you say it? I don't know if that's how you say it or not. You see, I'm saying it, but I feel like someone's gonna savage me later on and be like, "That's not how you pronounce it." Sorry if that's not how you pronounce it, but you know what I mean. Leo checks in with Jason, who is actually quite overwhelmed because obviously he's just met Thalia for the first time in such a long time. You know, they're running towards danger. There's giants coming. Obviously, Piper's dad's in danger, and they've just lost Festus. I think there's just a lot going on, and I think it's very sweet that the trio are always checking in with each other. Their dynamic really does remind me of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. Like, I'm not saying they're like them because that trio is the Celestial Trio. They're in a league of their own, but it's so nice to see that Rick has kind of built this beautiful group dynamic that he did similar to the first 5 books, which I love. Um, Jason, no, sorry, not Jason. Leo slams into Thalia, who has stopped like the rest of the hunters. So you already know something is happening, and it's not like you know that they're walking into danger, but you don't know what kind of danger they're walking into, which is kind of stressful. I guess I remember reading this and being like, oh, something big is about to kick off. They end up at Pike's Peak, where there is a bridge into Aeolus's fortress. Which is, you know, when I was imagining this, like, this is so cool. Like, you know, if you are somebody with a huge imagination like myself, like, you'll really enjoy Rick's work because it is so detailed, but he also gives you a chance to add your own spin onto it, which I love. Thalia sends Phoebe to tell the other hunters that she will catch up, basically. So, in other words, Thalia has separated herself from the hunters. She wants to help Jason, and then eventually she'll join the hunters again. Piper and Coach make it across, but Leo stops halfway on the bridge. Now, that is definitely not good. I can tell you right here, right now. As soon as he stopped, I was like, why is he stopped? I was like, there's something holding him back. What is holding him back? Um, and it's revealed that Leo's actually melting the bridge without even realizing it. And he remembers that Hera called Jason a bridge, and Thalia realizes what she meant by that. Now, when Leo is melting the bridge, obviously, like we don't, he's the like one of the special children of Hephaestus. He's probably the only people that can do things like that. And this, like I said, Rick is always dropping clues. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, just in his words, like you think of things later and you're like, Oh my God, Rick's already told me that. Like he kind of already planted that seed and he waters it throughout the story, which is what I love. Thalia realizes that Hera is at the wolf house. That is where she's being kept, basically. Which is obviously a big revelation, and it also means that we're going to get to learn a little bit more about Jason's past as well. The bridge starts dissolving, but Jason saves Leo, and Thalia tells them to meet her at the wolf house. Um, and she tells Jason that he knows where it is, and she runs across the dissolving bridge. Now that is a big moment, like a very underrated moment. Like Jason has just saved his friends. He's seen his sister for the first time in so long, and she's pulled this part of his past that he's lost his memory, but he can remember this one thing. That means that it can be significant, and he's that much closer to finding out who he was, which I love. The bridge eventually vanishes, and Piper and Coach help him up, and they head towards the palace. So you already know that the palace is going to have like a big, big role to play in this part of the story. So that's where the chapter sort of ends off. So chapter 37 is Jason's point of view again. So it opens up with Jason constantly thinking about Thalia. Like she's given him this clue, something from his past that he knows is going to be helpful. He just doesn't know what to do with that clue. And I think anyone who's lost their memory is going to have moments like that where it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with that. That yes, that is something from my past, but how is that relevant to who I am now? And I think that that's so cool. You know, Rick's whole idea behind taking people's memories away is so interesting because he makes them remember certain things, but other things that make them who they are, he leaves up to the audience, which I love. Um, and they keep walking towards this massive fortress, and Jason sends a coach to chase after the springtime. What? I don't even know what that means. I can't remember why I've put that in there. It must be important because I've written it down, although for the life of me cannot remember why that is important. But anyway, a woman comes floating towards them and she explains that she's an aura called Melly. Okay, first of all, Melly's a really cute name. Like, I think that Melly's a cute name. And also, the idea of her being an aura. So, like, when I was imagining this, you know, my imagination absolutely loves these books because, like I said, like, Rick gives me enough details to sort of, like, build this picture in my mind, but then also he gives me a chance to add my own spin to it, which I think is so cool. This aura, Melly, leads them through the lobby and they meet some harpies, and the aura calls them her ugly stepsisters. Oh, that's a little bit rude. But also I can imagine like a harpy next to an aura. I can imagine that's you know that saying there's two sides of the same coin. I think that's what I think of when she says that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's always the prettier looking sister and slightly different looking one, you could say. And Melly also tells them that Aeolus, or yeah, Aeolus probably won't kill them. That's promising, is it? Oh, he probably won't kill you. That sounds great. Exactly. You want to be walking straight into the danger of somebody who could potentially kill you. Whatever. I've just thought that was a little bit weird for her to say. I was a bit like, why are you saying it like that? Like there is still a 50% chance that they could die. But yeah, okay. That's where the chapter ends in chapter 37. Chapter 38 is Jason's point of view again, and it opens up with them entering the center of the fortress. A man guides them, ignoring Melly. Rude much? Oh god. Jesus Christ. He just sort of takes over. That's a little rude. They finally meet Aeolus, and he asks Jason if he defeated the sea monster. And he is so confused. Oh, I see what he did. That Rick is honestly one another thing that I love about his writing is that he makes these hints to previous Greek myths. So Aeolus, if you've never read the original Jason story, which is what we'll come to, I think maybe after Heroes of Olympus. I'm not sure. I feel like I should have done that first before Heroes of Olympus because then you guys would understand these references a bit more. That's what I did. Like I reread. No, I read for the first time Percy Jackson and the Greek heroes, and then I came back to Heroes of Olympus. So a lot of these references made a lot more sense. But don't worry, we'll get there together. At some point on the podcast, we'll read that sort of stuff together and you'll understand. If you're confused, Aeolus is talking about the original Jason, the Jason from the Greek myths. Don't worry, our Jason has not defeated any sea monsters yet. Yet. Hint, hint. Um, Melia tells Aeolus that he has 2 minutes um till air basically. Now if you don't know what that means, he's he runs this weather forecast TV show basically, and Jason gives him the bag with the storm spirits and reminds him that he ordered the demigods to be killed, basically, which is true because he wanted the demigods to die for whatever reason. I don't think he knows the reason himself, but whatever. Aeolus asks Melly if he should kill them, but she refuses. Oh, thank God. Imagine if she was just like, yeah, kill her. Like, I'm so happy that she didn't say that, but there was a potential that she could have said that and she didn't. So thank God she didn't. Um, Aeolus goes on air as the forecaster for Olympus. Oh my God, can you imagine that? Having a job like that. You just deliver the weather forecast to a bunch of Greek gods and goddesses. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Melly tells Aeolus that the trio has come from Olympus, and Aeolus thinks that Zeus wants to make him the god of wind. He's about to get disappointed, isn't he? Turns out the demigods are just there for help with their quest, really. Zeus hasn't sent them or anything. Zeus has completely shut off contact with the mortal world, you could say. So Aeolus is about to be completely disappointed. Um, Piper says that they need information and that Aeolus tells her that her father is in serious danger and he shows her a picture from her dad's wallet. Oh no. You see, this scene is so like they are going to ask for help, but Aeolus has just told Piper the one thing that she doesn't want to hear. She knows her dad is in danger, but the fact that Aeolus has found this picture from her dad's wallet proves that he's in danger. Um, yeah, and I remember reading that moment and being like, "Oh my God, my poor girl Piper! Like, I can't imagine what must be going through her head right now. Like, there's so much. They've already been put on this quest, and now her dad is in danger because of her godly side of the family, which I think is just awful." Um, Jason asks for directions to now. How do I say this word? Because when I read it, it sounds wrong, but I'm gonna say Enceladus is Leia, and if that's not how you say it, I'm so sorry. But that's the way I read it. And Aeolus says that he doesn't know where that is. Oh well, he's blooming helpful, isn't he? Can you give me directions to this place? I don't know where it is. That is literally the opposite of what you want to hear when you're asking for help. Sorry. Passive aggressive comments are coming to the street. Sorry guys, but that's literally what I do it like this because I want you guys to hear my thought process behind it as well. Like it's all good me summarizing what's going on in the chapters, but you get the best part, which is my commentary over it, which I think is hilarious. Um, Coach Hedge randomly walks in, and Aeolus tells them that they will find the layer on at Mount Diablo. Hold on a second, right? He says he doesn't know where the lair is, and now he's saying he knows where it is on a mountain. So he was lying, basically, but whatever. As long as we got the information we needed, that's all that matters. Aeolus gets a message in his earpiece to kill them, and Melly tries to protect them, and they fall into a pit. I can't remember who sends him that message. That's really annoying. That's going to really irritate me because, like, I don't know if we find out or not in the book. I can't remember. Guys, I took these notes back in July last year and it is now February. Like, you're just going to have to bear with me. There are certain things like I can't remember and I haven't reread the books in a while. So my memory is a little bit um foggy, you could say. Anyway, Jason and Melly try to save them, but Melly asks Coach to send her to Iris message her, and Piper tells them to plan their date later, and I just burst out laughing. Oh, she ships Coach and Melly together. Isn't that sweet? Like, oh, little like enemies to lovers sort of thing. Oh, is it so is it like forced proximity? Guys, I'm not very good at the romance stuff. Like, you're really gonna help me out here. I don't read any sort of romance books, so you guys are gonna have to tell me what genre that would fall under, you could say. And the chapter ends with Melly dissolving and a strong wind blast and a strong wind blasts them out of the sky, making Jason black out. Wow. He's blacked out so many times in this book, it's actually unbelievable. Chapter 39, we are back to Piper's point of view, and it opens up with Piper dreaming in she's in the wilderness on the school dorm roof with Jason dancing, and then her dream takes an unexpected shift to Media's department store, where she meets Aphrodite, who is her mother, who tells her that Media and the other enemies will return and the doors of death will open. Oh my God! Remember that. I've just realized why that line is so important. Guys. The doors of death. Remember it. It is like the biggest string that Rick is going to pull later on. So please remember that. Once we get to Mark of Athena and House of Hades, that will make a lot more sense. So please just remember that one detail. Doors of death. That's all you have to take from that sentence. Um, she also says that the one who is rising has a special connection with Tartarus. With Tartarus. Why could I not talk Tartarus? And that's why the monsters don't stay dead for long. Again, Rick is dropping these hints like anything. Guys, that is so important. Who is gonna have a special connection with an endless pit? Tartarus. Think about it. Everything makes sense. This is what I mean. Rick never ever makes characters say anything that's not important. Remember it. Remember it, is what I'm saying. Aphrodite also reveals that Tristan, who is Piper's dad, didn't know that she was a goddess when they were together, basically. And she calls Tristan weak and that he was scared that the Greek stories could be real. So, what I'm assuming happened, just if I was to make a guess, is that when Aphrodite revealed her true self to Piper's dad, he was a little scared and he didn't believe her or that the Greeks and the Olympians really existed. Which is fair enough. I mean, it does sound a little absurd, but it kind of makes sense at the same time. Um, Piper asks Aphrodite who the woman is and she dodges the question. Ooh, ooh, yeah. You know, I think what this is Rick was trying to tell us that the Olympians know exactly who the threat is, but because Zeus has cut off that connection with any demigod children, even the Olympians are too scared to take her name because they know that this is going to be the biggest battle that they're ever going to face. And the threat is way worse than Kronos. And I think that says more than enough, basically. Piper realizes that the enemy is Gaia, and so if you don't know who Gaia is, she's the Mother Earth, and she's the one who is rising the giants. She's tag teamed these giants to help her take over. That is definitely not scary at all. Fighting against nature itself, that's probably not something you want to do, to be honest. But yeah, like this is what I'm saying when like Heroes of Olympus is a lot darker because the threat is a lot more real. And I think the fact that even the Olympians are scared, like around Kronos' time, I think they could be like a bit more confident that they've defeated him before and that, you know, like they can easily, well, not easily defeat them again, but you know what I mean? Like they had a bit of confidence that they could beat them. Whereas Gaia is the one who has been there from the beginning. So it's almost like the place where they've come from is now ready to kill them, and that's slightly terrifying. But yeah, you get the gist. Then Aphrodite also says something really interesting, which I like, is where she says that she calls Piper the mediator. Now that is also really important. Like I said, Rick is dropping these hints. Like he's so good at this. Like I just don't know how he does it. Like he makes these really important hints that you don't think about until after you've read the whole book and you're like, "Oh my god, he's already said that. He's already kind of told me that. That's pretty cool." Aphrodite tells her that she hopes Piper likes her clothes that she's picked out for her, and Piper's dream fades. So that's where the chapter ends. So, chapter 40 is again Piper's point of view. It was quite a short chapter, so there wasn't really much that happened in it, but it opens up with Piper waking up at a table in a sidewalk cafe. It's slightly creepy, like you dream of falling asleep and then you randomly wake up in a cafe. Like, I can't imagine that that's something easy to deal with. Piper screams looking at her outfit, and they all wake up. So, in other words, I think Coach is there, Jason's there, Leo's there with her from all I can remember, and Aphrodite has basically dressed them all up. Now, the goddess of love, you can probably imagine what she's done to them all, but yeah. Piper orders 6 coffees and they see Mount Diablo on the horizon. So, in other words, Aphrodite sort of helped them and transported them where they need to be, you could say. Or you could argue that Melly's done that. I don't really know which one of them did, but it is helpful to say the least. Piper tells them about Gaia being the new threat, and Leo realizes that she has been the one who's been speaking to him in his dreams. Again, big reveal there. Like this voice that Leo has been hearing actually hasn't come out of nowhere. It is Gaia. Piper doesn't want them to do this, but we know that they will help, basically. I think it's such a big thing. Like, she's one of those people. She's very like Percy in the sense that she doesn't really want to put anyone else in danger. Like, if she can help it, she'll protect them. And what she fails to realize, the same way Percy failed to realize, is that her friends are going to be there for her regardless. If she's running into a situation head first into danger, like, they're going to follow her without even thinking twice, which I love. Second to last chapter that we're going to be talking about is chapter 41, and again it comes back to Leo's point of view, and it opens up with them in a taxi. When they arrive, Leo tells the driver to leave, basically. I'm assuming that they took a taxi to the mountain just to make it easier, basically. Turns out that Jason vaguely remembers being in the Titan land. So he's already had this experience. Again, Rick is constantly dropping hints about his past, and you don't really think about it until afterwards, and you're like, oh yeah, that was significant to who he is. We'll get there, guys. We'll pull that thread together. Don't worry. Um, Coach gives Leo his shoes, which obviously must have been covering his satyr legs, but he doesn't want them anymore. Leo looks at his drawing. He wants to figure out something, but he knows he has to wait. Now, what is he figuring out, guys? Is the question. You guys tell me. What do you think? I know what he's trying to figure out, but you guys tell me. What do you think? They see the giants camp and Enceladus's lair. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. Don't savage me if that's not how you say it, guys. I'm not really sure. These Greek names can sometimes be quite difficult to pronounce, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Piper sees her dad half dead and about to be eaten. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? She hasn't seen him in so long. She genuinely thought that he was trying to get rid of her. And now seeing him in pretty much danger where he's about to die. Like, can you imagine? Must be awful. Um, Coach suggests that they distract the giant while Piper frees her dad, which is actually a good idea, and they nominate Jason to be in charge. Sorry, guys. I don't hate Jason, guys. I don't hate him. I just really dislike him, which actually doesn't sound any better when I say it out loud, but whatever. You know what I mean. Uh, in other words, they have a basic plan, you could say. Leo doesn't like the plan, but just goes with it. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I can't say I necessarily blame him for not wanted to go along with it. It doesn't sound like a very thought out plan, but we'll see. We'll see in the next few chapters. And the last chapter we're going to be talking about together is chapter 42, which again is Leo's point of view. And it opens up with them walking towards the giant. Coach tries to trash talk the giant, and Jason tells him to shut up. Okay, yeah, fair enough. There are times where trash talking works. I just think you walking up to a giant in a layer on a mountain is probably just not the best place to trash talk, to be honest. But then saying that, Percy used to do it and it used to work. So I don't know. I suppose it depends on who the person is. And Jason and Coach charge at the giant. Um, Enceladus knows that Piper is there and thanks her for bringing the boys to him. Oh no, that's not good. In other words, this was all an elaborate scheme to bring Jason and Leo to them, basically. They know that Jason and Leo are probably the biggest threats to Gaia's Rising. I guess we'll find out. Tristan realizes that Piper has come and she tells Enceladus to let him go. Of course she does. You know, any daughter in that situation would have done the same thing, regardless of whether their dad was there for them or not. I'm sure anyone with a bit of morality would do that. Enceladus roars, calling all the ogres to his side, and they want to kill Jason, especially. Oh dear. Well, I suppose, yeah. If they get rid of Jason, he's a child of the big three. So that would kind of help them win the war, you could say, but we'll see. Piper commands the Earthborns to stand down, and they do. Whoa, badass bitch move there, guys. Sorry, excuse my French, but that is sick. Like, I remember reading that and be like, yeah, you know what? I think a lot of people underestimate Piper just because she's a child of Aphrodite, and I don't think that that's necessarily fair. That just because like there are certain daughters of Aphrodite that only care about their appearance, we know that Piper is the complete opposite side of that spectrum. She's never cared about that. She knows who she is. She has the self respect, and she can be a badass. And that is why I just love her so much. And so many of like literally all the characters in the the next seven half bloods that we're gonna meet, like they're all amazing and they all are badass, and especially the girls. Like Rick is all about the girl power, and I just love it. And I think that's probably why he's one of my favorite authors as well. Anyway, sorry, went on a bit of a tangent there. Jason charges towards the giant, and Piper runs to her dad, and Leo wants and Leo went to the tree harvester. His words, not mine. I'm assuming I know what he's talking about, but I can't say I'm necessarily sure. So you guys tell me what you think that means. Piper cuts her dad free, and Leo loses his ability to save them, and the ogres see that Jason is losing against the giant. Oh dear, that's not good. That's not good. Jason is about to get himself killed, and that's where the chapter ends. Oh, I do you know what? I kind of love leaving this on a cliffhanger, so like I can talk to you guys about it a bit later on. So let's sort of round this episode off with my final thoughts and feelings. So obviously I love that there was more of Thalia. Like she is one of my favorite characters, especially from the first five books. And it was nice to see her and Jason reunited and have that sibling moment. And she's given Jason the biggest clue to his past, and she's taken him a step forward to where he needs to be and how he finds who he is, which I love. Um Aeolus confused me so much. To be honest, I don't even know if he knows himself who he is, but it just made me laugh, and I was just like, I don't get it. Like sometimes he was saying things in the chapter, and I was a bit like, I don't know what's going on. Like this was the one time where I was slightly confused, but I guess that's what his character is. Like that's the reason why Rick has put him in that particular scene. Coach Hedge is so funny. Like honestly, he just cracked me up. Like the way he was trying to trash talk the giant, I think that that's amazing. And you know what? It's also such like a Coach Hedge thing to do. Like you can't even be mad about it, which I love. Aphrodite is, I would say, a decent mom. I guess maybe. I don't know. I think it's probably just because she's taken a liking towards Piper that she's more willing to help her. But whether she's a good mom or not, I guess is a debatable topic. You could say. We'll talk more about that as the books go on, you could say. And of course, Gaia is the next big threat, the Mother Earth herself. Rick really does not like to make it easy for our heroes, and we'll talk more about her being a threat as the books goes on. And finally, obviously, the battle against the giants and the ogres didn't go very well, but hopefully, Jason survives. I don't know. We'll see in the next episode. So, thank you guys so much for listening, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I am so sorry it is a day late, but I promise this episode will be going up on Saturday, so you'll be more than happy, and I don't lose my thread of having weekly uploads. There's a lot that went on in these chapters, so I try to speed through it as quickly as I can. But if you're confused about anything, feel free to DM me or email me any questions. Both are at Aamsuntitledpodcast. Don't forget, all episodes of the podcast are available to stream on Spotify and on my YouTube channel. Both are at Aamsuntitledpodcast. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel whilst you're there. It'd be greatly appreciated. Follow me on Spotify as well. That's probably the best place to find out when a new episode goes up. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Threads. I'm most active there. We have officially wrapped Percy Jackson filming season 2, so I'm hoping in the next few months we'll get like a trailer or something for us to talk about. I just wanted to say a huge congratulations to Walker as well. He won the Rising Star Award for Percy Jackson. I think it was at the I can't remember the name of the event, guys. I think it was the SCAD TV Fest. And he looked so grown up in those pictures, and I was just I had a bit of a proud moment. I was like, oh, like they're all award-winning actors, and they're all amazing in my opinion. And I can't wait until we can start talking more season 2 and watching the episodes and stuff together. I'm really excited. It's going to be a great year for Percy Jackson fans. So I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. And I hope you've had a really great week, and I'll be speaking to you very soon. Mwah! Bye!